It is a river of life. It is a river of light. Good boy. Hey, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records. And February's Black History Month. Rod the Happy Hippie just recognized that on one of his videos I recently watched. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to highlight an important vinyl album that addresses Black history on this month. So this is an album if you're interested in history in general, African American history, if you're interested in the Old West, if you like cowboy songs, if westerns are your thing, anything along those lines, I think you will enjoy this album. And it is by Don Flemons, and it's called Don Flemons Presents Black Cowboys. And there it is. There's Don. And some good photos here. And this album is on the Smithsonian Folkways label, and it was done in coordination with the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which I think opened around 2017 or 18, if memory serves me correctly. Time flies, so I can't keep up with that sort of stuff. But it's done in coordination with that museum. And African American, it's referred to as African American Legacy Recordings, and so I guess sub-labels from the Smithsonian label. It's a 2-album gatefold. There's Don with the giant banjo. I believe it's called Joe the Big Banjo or something like that. He plays sometimes. Some of these photographs include his family members, grandfather, grandmother, father, who he was raised in Arizona, and his family goes back several generations to the Old West. So he has a direct connection with this. But he did a lot of research on the role of African Americans in the Old West, and specifically cowboys, and came up with some self-penned compositions, dug up some old songs that were originally performed or written by black cowboys, and there's some poems in here, some really interesting stuff. I think if you've got any interest in that sort of thing, you might enjoy. It just simply says, Don, on the back cover, I won't read it all, but just a couple of sentences. Don Flemons Presents Black Cowboys pay tribute to the music, culture, and the complex history of the golden era of the Wild West. In this single volume of music, the first of its kind, Flemons explores and reanalyzes this important part of our American identity. So it also comes with a booklet. And now this is also available as a CD, and I'm sure a digital download too. I imagine everything is these days, but a lot of information in here. And black. I taught history for several decades, specifically North Carolina and U.S. history, and Black History Month is important, but really every group, every immigrant group, every ethnic group, every culture, every way of life within our world and throughout our history is important to understand our nation and the world completely. So you really you can't just teach about the military leaders in wars and the political leaders and things like that to the exclusion of all the rest of us, because you don't get a clear picture of history when you do. You don't understand the complexities of who we are, where we came from, what we became, what we become, and what we can become in the future without having that background, that understanding. That's why history is so important. And when each year when I taught, when February would come up, the administrator said, well, now make sure you include some African American history, some Black history. It's Black History Month. Let me know what you're doing and everything. And I'm going like, I'm teaching from August to June, the history of our state and our nation. There is no way I'm not including the role of African Americans in our history. You can't do it. You can't teach one without the other, unless you just teach the wars and the generals and the politicians. And I've never done that, and hopefully most history teachers don't. So I say, okay, this is what we're doing this month, but I mean, we're going to do it anyway, and we're doing it whether it's February or December, or whether it's May or February. It's not going to be just in February, and I think hopefully that's the way it is everywhere where they're teaching. Okay, well, that's just a really good album. I think folks in the vinyl community might enjoy. It's a recent album, 2018. Don Flemons presents Black Cowboys. All right, everybody, take care. Remember, be kind to your neighbors, because we're all neighbors.